Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team back.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the major qualifiers for Southeast Asia, and we are going to be in for an interesting game here, Mongolz versus Dragoon Esports. Now, before we move into this game, we had a hell of a game last time, Faceless versus Mineski, and it looked like Mineski had a chance at actually taking this game off of Faceless, but unfortunately, Faceless, the Titans, will be toppling Mineski and making their way. As well, both Mineski and Faceless are going to be going over to the main qualifiers, but this is to say that Faceless will be the toughest opponents for all the Southeast Asian. No one has managed to beat them yet, but we may change once we get to the tail end of qualifiers, folks. But for now, Dragoon versus Mongolz. Now, I'll take a look at the standings for these guys in the brackets, just to see what points they're sitting at. I believe both of these teams are not capable of reaching 4 because of the points. So it looks like both Dragoon and Mongolz have literally a 0% chance of making it to playoffs. So it's unfortunate for these guys, but they will still be playing for bragging rights. So Dragoon as well as Mongolz, I think they've played 7 games here on Mongolz, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 on Dragoon as well. So Mongolz, they've won 1 game, lost 6, and Dragoons have won 2 and lost 5. So we could make this even if Dragoons lost and Mongolz wins. If it's the other way around, then Dragoons will sit on 3 wins compared to Mongolz 7 losses. So let's get right into this, shall we, folks? So Mongolz versus Dragoons. I don't know if I've casted. I don't believe I've casted the Mongolz because their names, I don't remember introducing any of them, which is a little unfortunate. But you know, it's not that bad. Not all that bad. So let's take a look at the draft anyway. Mongolz, they picked up the Earth Spirit and the Shadow Demon, whereas Dragoons, they've gone back for the Timber Saw as their first pickup. And in terms of second, they're still holding on to that. Ban-wise, it's been Wisp and Omni Knight for Dragoons, whereas Mongolz, they get rid of the Ogre Magi and the Undying. So a lot of the strength-based heroes have been banned out of the pool, it seems. We don't really like those, it looks like. Rather interesting. I'm rather surprised that we've actually gotten a Wisp ban, just because I don't think any team has played Wisp in the qualifiers at all. I could be wrong about that, but I haven't seen a team play Wisp yet. This is a bit of an interesting ban, unless it's the Mongolz that do pull it out occasionally, but I haven't had a chance to cast any of their games, so I'm a bit in the dark here. Adam actually mentioned about this yesterday. Teams can play Wisp because the region doesn't normally touch the hero. Because Southeast Asian teams, they prefer other heroes that can really put on aggression instead of the global presence that a Wisp provides. So I'm just gonna stay confused on this Wisp ban. It could be an inside thing. Maybe someone follows Mongolz and they play it. Last pick here for Dragoons ends up being the Keeper of the Light. We've seen a couple of teams actually favor Keeper of the Light in this tournament, and the hero had some mixed success and not so successful stuff, if you know what I mean. Keeper of the Light, he's great for counter push, but for some of the games that I've seen, he either gets manhandled or his team is so far ahead that he's able to grab a really early Ags and start teleporting heroes all over the place. So, mixed expectations for Keeper, whereas Shadow Demon, this hero has seen a lot of success. Such an amazing hero, combos well with illusion-based heroes, able to apply pressure during lanes. The Purge it's a free Purge, it's great. So, getting the Shadow Demon, great support. Seen a couple of Earth Spirits, but not really enough to say that it's a popular pick here. But it's still a great hero to pair up with the Shadow Demon because you now have the setup from the Disruption. So for the Mongolz, this more or less looks like it's going to be a comfort pick to grab both supports this early on. Whereas for Fire Dragoons, I'm wondering if the Keeper of the Light pickup also a deny pick, just so that the Mongolz won't take it to play around with a Timbersaw. Because Timbersaw's biggest weakness is that he does not like that mana drain. He's a hero that wants to be mobile at all times, and the mana drain, you don't want to be mobile, so... Could be the case where they sort of deny picking up from the Mongolz, who could have picked it up considering they had the Earth Spirit. So second phase of bans, going to be the Bounty Hunter and the Sand King for the Mongolz. So it really looks like they don't like invisibility, rumors. Sand King, I say invisibility because he will hide under the sandstorm for the majority of the time. So it looks like they don't really want to invest in detection. Maybe Fire Dragoons catch on to this and maybe pick up something such as a Riki for that early game pressure. Could be an option for them. The Mongolz really do not like invisibility based heroes. Fire Dragoons in the meantime, they ban out the Morphling as well as the OD, two very strong powerhouse heroes that we've seen for the majority, either banned or picked. So Morphling, unfortunately, as well as OD, we're not going to be seeing those. I think I've seen OD banned almost all the time. It's like 100% ban rate. Don't even think I've seen it played. Maybe in the other group they played it, but for the games that I casted, I have seen practically no OD. So he's got 100% ban rate on my side of the table. Mongol's going to be picking up the Marana. This is a great hero to pair up with the Shadow Demon. This can still be a core Marana, but you have great setup with the Disruption. Heck, even the Earth Spirit to a certain degree is going to have some great setup with the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Demon is the middleman for both the Marana and the Earth Spirit to get their stuns off. It's just a safe way to guarantee it instead of trying to go for the skill shot sometimes. But Marana will be a great time for controller. She loves chasing down heroes such as Keeper of the Light, who are relatively squishy, cannot absorb a lot of damage, and typically they get away. He gets away because he's fast, but Marana, with access to the leap, she can jump on top of this Keeper of the Light, and he will not have a fun time. Same can be said for the Timbersaw. Timbersaw will receive a lot of problems with the Marana because she does a lot of magical damage at the early stages of the game with the Starfall. So this Timbersaw might not have the best time of his life in this game just because of the Marana on the field for Mongolz. Fire Dragoons are going to be following up with the third pick here, the Juggernaut. Very, very safe pick and also synergizes very well with the Keeper of the Light. It will practically have infinite pools of mana just because of the Chakra Magic. And also, he pretty much would be able to work in a similar way to the Luna did for the one series that I casted where it was Luna and Keeper of the Light. Once he picked up the early Ags, Juggernaut farming on the other side of the map suddenly gets TP'd in, can help the team quite a bit. So I can see a lot of kill potential in this Juggernaut Keeper of the Light lane, assuming they possibly go for that 1 point into the mana burn, or mana drain, at least. And Mongol's going to go for the double Cat Lady build. It's going to go for the Marana and the Luna. So they've got lots of mobility on their side, lots of magical damage, and the bonus damage from the Luna passive. So for the Mongolz, it looks like they actually want to take this game through pushing early. But Fire Dragoons, they're sort of ready for this. They've got a Timbersaw and Keeper of the Light that's effective at keeping creep waves at bay. So I'm not too sure if this is going to be too easy for the Mongolz, just because of all this counter push to deny them any sort of push. If the game goes late though, then of course they'll be able to do this. A fat Luna up against a Timbersaw and a Keeper of the Light, no problem. Fire Dragoons, I will say their draft is lacking some sort of disable. It doesn't even have to be a teamfight disable, it's just any sort of disposable stun. Because There are no stuns on the side of Fire Dragoon's lineup, and they will end up going back for the Rubik. I like this pickup. There are a lot of spells he can steal, and also the Null Field, his passive, is going to be very useful for mitigating some of the incoming magical damage from both the Marana and the Luna. So I really like this Rubik pickup here, coming out from Fire Dragoons. It makes a lot of sense, and also synergizes with the Keeper of the Light. If anyone gets mana burned, you grab them, you pull them, you move them, you drain them. It's all good. Suck them dry. So last phase of band, it's going to be the Invoker, and finally Fire Dragoons going to be looking at the side of Mongolz. Mongolz are going to be looking for a mid, but so are Fire Dragoons, so they need to consider what mids do we not need, which mids do they need, and which mids do we need. And you can look at the Mongolz, it might not even be a mid, the Marana may be taking the mid role. So it may end up just being an off lane, and if you want to get rid of off lanes, Tidehunter would have been a great one here. Can be banned up. Mongolz may consider going back for something such as the Sada. He would work pretty well with the Mongolz lineup, unless they want to go back for the Bat Rider. Interesting enough, has not been banned, so this could be another hero to go for the Mongolz. You can shift the lanes with this as well, so you can put the Bat Rider in the middle lane, Marana in the off lane. Obviously, vice versa is the preferred lane. Maybe they can even go for an aggressive tri-lane with the Luna, Earth Spirit, and Shadow Demon. And Fire Dragoon's gonna go back for a classic mid we haven't seen for a very long time, the Shadow Fiend. And there are very few teams that still run this. I think one of the only big teams that I know that still run the Shadow Fiend is Fnatic, which is Mushi. Mushi would normally play the Shadow Fiend for Fnatic. So to see Fire Dragoons play this, I'm quite excited. Whereas for the Mongolz, they pick up the Axe. They needed an offlaner, they needed an initiator, and this Axe fits the bill quite nicely. Call will pierce the spin, so Juggernaut cannot simply spin away from an Axe call. And also, the Slam Dunk might be a problem for Zhang, because Shadow Fiend doesn't really start off with the best amount of HP, and getting chopped to bits, Shadow Fiend's job. That's not a good time. Before we start anything, guys, welcome. This is a best of one between Fire Dragoon Gaming versus the Mongolz. Unfortunately, the outcome of this game will not impact the position of these players. They will not be making the playoffs. So this is more or less just going to be for bragging rights, funsies, if anything. So let's do quick team introductions before anything gets started. On the side of the Mongolz, we have Sanke on the Luna. We have Proxy going to be on our Earth Spirit. We have Marana being played by Redemption. We have Aruka Girl, or was it Arukia? Arikua. Okay, that's going to be interesting to pronounce. Arikua. Well, I might just call you Riku. Ruka. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Shadow Demon will be called Shadow Demon. Finally, we have Masquerade going to be playing our Axe, who looks like he may be going to a Masquerade party, especially with that kind of mask he's got. On the side of Fire Dragoon Gaming, we have Ben playing on our Juggernaut. We have Zhang playing on our Shadow Fiend. We have WL on the Rubik. Yang going to be playing on our Keeper of the Light. And finally, we have in the bottom lane, Bryant on the Timbersaw again. Looks like they get rid of the Shadow Demon illusions with Yang. And looks like they have to go for the lift here onto the Marana, so she does not get the rune. So very nice swipe there coming out from Zhang, whereas the bottom rune, still looking for a home. Hopefully it finds a house soon, but the Shadow Demon ended up dying in the backlines. I'm very sorry. I missed that, guys. That's my first blood that I haven't seen today. There we go. Curse is over. I'm going to be able to see the rest of them. Thanks a lot. Interesting laning decision coming out from Fire Dragoons. They're actually going to send their Juggernaut up into the top lane with the Rubik, whereas down towards the bottom they have the Timbersaw, and middle lane it's going to be Zhang with a little bit of help coming out from Yang. So they want to guarantee this lane at least for Yang, because he may have a bit of trouble, especially going up against a Marana, who may potentially get some help herself if any of the Mongolz decide to go for a rotation. Top lane in the meantime, looks like it's going to be more or less okay here. They will go for a jump off onto the roof, gets the lift off, will be throwing him back onto the Shadow Demon, but help is converging, and Sunke is coming in from the west side. It looks like WL may just have to go for a bit of a run for it. A marathon across the country. As poor Rubik will get slowed again, and he should be going down in a moment. So the supports get a bonus in a Rubik. Luckily for the Jug though, he gets an open lane with this. So for Ben, it's really not a bad thing that happened. Yes, they lost to Rubik, but at least he was able to get some free time in their lane, whereas Masquerade in the bottom lane, almost dying to Brian. So it looks like Yang doing a little bit of work here. Illuminate at the ready. And helping out the Timbersaw. Sending back the Axe, this is good news because this will free up the lane for your Timbersaw. Brian will be able to get some free farm and possibly finish up his items a little bit quicker than normal. It will also slow down the progression of the Axe, and if you can get an Axe to fall behind you in terms of farm, that's good news. Oh, looks like the Shadow Demon got slowed down by the creep. Oh, that is so unfortunate. He gets the disruption off in the meantime. He's still being spun to death by Ben. Ben needs 2 hits, but he can't quite get them, and now he's going to be running away from a hasted proxy. Oh dear, Ben. He's going to take quite a bit of damage, but this won't kill him in the least. He's going to actually turn around and fight Proxy. We'll actually send him packing onto WL instead. He's still hasted, but he might get lifted back onto Ben. And is this going to be what Ben was looking for? The revenge for WL. They will throw the stun off, and that's going to send Ben packing as a disruption to follow. They will kill him off with the Rubik now, but Ben has to escape, running away from the Luna. And now it's going to be WL on the retreat, but he's going to run back to his Juggernaut friend, who actually could have met him back into the middle. But they're not going to commit. The Luna does not want to spend too much time away from the creep wave, and Ben's going to be coming back into this lane full. So the Shadow Demon all of a sudden doesn't really feel too comfortable about this. He's too low, and he only has a Tango. So 1 Tango, 1 Clarity. He's actually going to stick around and walk back home while Proxy actually heads back into lane. So let's talk about the middle lane a little bit. It looks like the Mirana is falling slightly behind the Shadow Demon, but Shadow Fiend, but he did receive some help. This did help him out a tad, whereas for the Mirana, oh, that was a completely whipped roll. And I think he was trying to go for WL, but now the razors are going to start hurting. He's got 1 long range raise. Can't quite get him though. And the arrow completely whiffs, so they won't get the kill onto the Earth Spirit. But this will open up the lane here for Zhang, as the Deny coming out from the Earth Spirit to go back to Fountain will be deployed. Ben looks like he's just got absolute control in this top lane. Just pulling the creeps wherever he pleases. No contestation coming out from Sanke. There will be an Earth Spirit coming back into lane, but I don't know if this is going to do anything. Taking a look at the CS though, outside of the Shadow Fiend on top, looks like there is a spin. I guess that's Ben just clearing out the creep wave. They will go for the stun, does not land, but they will hit him with the Lucent Beam from Sanke. But the stun back from the pull, gonna keep him okay. And that's gonna send them packing for a little bit. Although the Luna's coming a little bit forward, but Sanke gonna try and go for the beam. He wants WL. The poison just hits him, as well as the hit there from the Luna. And Ben looks like he might be the next casualty. 2 more hits. Healing Ward will keep him alive. And the poison, it's only level 1 poison, I believe, unless it's level 2. Still level 1. So Ben's gonna be A-okay. Will not be dying anytime soon. Proxy wants to come in for a bit of a backstab here off onto Yang, but Zhang's TP'd back into lane, so this is pretty much a no-kill zone now for Proxy. They do see the backlines, which will be useful when it comes to diving, but from the looks of it, it doesn't really look like Yang's going to be leaving Zhang's shoulder anytime soon. They will be staying together, and this will ensure the safety of the Shadow Fiend. Wow, that did no damage. I guess it's seen level 1. Very little damage. Down towards the bottom lane, haven't really spoken about this. Brian's still free farming, whereas the Axe, he's not free farming, he is spending more time in the jungle, but this means that he will keep up in terms of CS. Compared to if he goes down there now, and there's Rubik, Brian might just have his way at him. Oh, actually a nice rune for Proxy. One of the best runes to pick up on a hero such as an Earth Spirit. Makes your spells very spammable.
Denied.
But they're just going to leave it at that. They've got someone else coming through, but by the time they arrive, I feel like this arcane rune may have expired. Unless Ben spots him out first, going to be running right next to Proxy, and he sees him with the arcane rune. And actually hit him twice, and Proxy's like, well, that wasn't the plan. He misses the roll, gets it back. Looks like they're going to try and go for a disruption. Luna is here with the ultimate. And Ben, he has the spin though. They're forcing out the spin. Rolls right on top of him, and there we go. They're actually going to possibly kill him here. They need one more beam. There's juking into the tree line. He's hiding in the corner. And Sanke's going to try and find him, but has he made a mistake? He's got no mana left now. Sanke's gone too far forward. Now it's going to be the Luna on the retreat, but the Rubik, if he gets one lift, he is so done for. Ben almost has a spin, but he's not going to commit. A little bit too worried there could be some support, but there were a lot of low heroes coming out from the Mongolz. They almost get that kill off onto the Jug, but so close so far. Jug, one of the most annoying heroes in the game to kill just because of that magic immune spin. Taking a look at the graphs here really quickly, we have a slight advantage here for 5 Dragoons. So obviously with this they've got to be feeling quite happy with that. Taking a look at net worth, pretty much the same story here, no major differences, just a slight lead. And I think that's mainly just because they've been able to maintain control of the majority of their lanes. Middle lane has been pretty much the story of Yang, who's doubled the CS of the Mirana. Where is the Mirana? Mirana's running back home. So it looks like they're trying to give a little bit of this farm to Proxy on the Earth Spirit, who currently is only level 3, so this Earth Spirit trying to do the best he can to come back in terms of EXP. But Proxy, he's had a couple of moments where he missed the rolls, and it sort of hurt him. Except Masquerade gonna be coming into lane here. Just gonna be sent away because Brian is there. I think Ben might be in trouble now because here comes our Shadow Demon and Sanke goes to the Moonlight and 3 hits. Well, Luna gets him anyway. Successful as the Jug didn't have access to anything, so could have possibly gone for the spin, but I believe that was on cooldown, so can't really be doing too much about that one. So free kill for the Luna. And Fire Dragoon not going to be too happy about that. They're actually going to bring Zhang into the bottom lane to go for a T1 push. This T1 has taken very minimal damage. But luckily for them, because they brought everyone down there, no one will be ganked by Mirana up top.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So Masquerade gonna try and go for a backstab on the creeps here. And are there any creeps left? There's one more creep wave left, so it really doesn't matter if Masquerade tries to backstab the creeps. I believe he's just gonna be trying to get some farm for himself, as well as slow down the creeps for a potential T2 push. But Ben is here, and does Ben have Omni Slash? He doesn't for another 38 seconds. So lift, they get the lift onto the axe. They got one spin onto Ben though, got a call. But Masquerade, his HP is dropping rapidly with a level 4 spin. And he will be going down in a moment, unless they can't chase him down. He's really quick. Yang, arrow lands onto just the Rubik, but here comes the backline support. Oh, Retribution might be in trouble though. Do they have detection to chase them around? I'm gonna go for a TP. Nothing to cancel, but the spin will take her down. Very questionable play coming out from the Mirana. You get a support, but you give yourself away to the whole team. That is... You never want to make trades like that, ever. Unless you are very, very far behind. You really never, ever want to make a trade like that.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Their Proxy in the bottom lane might be running into Ben very soon. Rather surprised that Mongolz are not mounting any sort of defense in this middle lane. They're just sort of letting the towers being taken here by Fire Dragoons, and you don't really want to be doing this, especially up against a Shadow Fiend who can take towers at a really rapid rate if you leave them untouched. I understand that they do have a Luna, they can push themselves, but this Shadow Fiend can do much more than the Luna can at this point in the game. Luna is practically a Lucent Beam and an Eclipse, and that's it. She really does not provide anything else to her team, and that sort of hurts her. Because if she can't do anything else, if the team fight happens, Shadow Fiend's going to unload 2 rounds, whereas the Luna is only able to unload 1 round. Looks like bottom T2 going to be in trouble. Proxy spotting this out, going to be making a retreat as is he calling for SOS for his team. Going to stick around first, but Brian going to be running forward, showing him who's boss. Sending Proxy a little bit further back. They have TP'd in this Shadow Demon. Could be looking to throw some poison stacks out. Down to half HP already with the help of 3 heroes. And it looks like for now, it's a successful defense from Mongolz, but successful for how long? Oh, they managed to catch a stun out onto the Timber Sword, but he's just taking no damage. The Earth Spirit unfortunately catched out in the middle of the fight, as well as that Shadow Demon. But Luna comes in with the Eclipse. Is the damage enough? They get the arrow off into the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Fiend, I'm afraid. And looks like they're going to try and chase down this Timber Sword, but the Shakam doing a lot of work. Retribution can't quite find the Mirana. He's still chasing. In the meantime, the Axe gets a kill onto the Juggernaut, but this poor Rubik trying to man fight this Luna. Can't quite get it. And now it's Yang going to be on the retreat here. As Timber Sword looking for a kill off onto the Luna. Can't quite get it as she is now on the run. And Yang, keep up the light, going to try and man fight the Cat Lady. The Shotgun comes through and rips her a new one. And Brian going to start outrunning the chase. Oh, the Mirana! Oh, the Mirana losing her life before the Timber Sword dies. Big win there for the Timber Sword to get that EXP. At the end of the day, ends up being I believe it was more than that. Pretty sure it was a lot more than that. The Shadow Fiend died, the Jug died, Timber Sword died. There are a lot of heroes that died, but apparently Graps want to be buggy. So I guess we'll just have to take a look at it this way. So within the span of that, we had Shadow Fiend dying. Oh no, there was the Shadow Demon died, the Luna died, and the Mirana died. Whereas on the side of the Mongolz, they lost the Rubik, they lost the Jug, and they lost the Timber Sword. So it ended up being 3 for 3, which isn't pretty bad. It's just that both the Luna and the Mirana died. The major dual core on the side of Mongolz can't really afford to give too much away to the Radiant right now. Taking a look at the graphs really quickly again, we have a very even EXP distribution by both sides. Whereas you take a look at the net worth, slight lead here for Fire Dragoons, but this is still very interchangeable by both squads. Taking a look at item progression here for both sides. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we're going to have Proxy being taken down here by Brian. Pops his one, still has mana, but gets zapped down by WL. So we've got our Soul Booster here onto Brian, so he's very close to finishing up that Bloodstone. If not, it's already completed. Looks like top there's a bit of a push here. But they've got the mechanism done onto Zhang. And Zhang also has a Dragon Lance, so he's actually relatively tanky. Especially once he picks up that Dragon Lance, extra range plus HP. Take a look at the Mongolz, they don't really have anything outside of the Axe to safely be able to catch out Zhang.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
At the end of the day as well, they pushed a T2 and now they're going to try and force them back to defend their T3s. There's only one here so far, there's just Proxy, and they tried to TP in Ben, I believe, but it does end up being cancelled. T3 is under siege while the T2 gets taken down. Lands onto 2, call onto the Shadow Fiend, but oh boy, Axe could be in trouble, down to half. Oh, lots of damage coming out from Brian. Now they're going to be on the chase. The Purge gets deployed here onto Zhang. The Shadow Demon regrets his decision. Now Sunky on the low ground. He can't see anything. He's going to be at the mercy of Fire Dragoon. They lose the Luna. Now Retribution looking for a kill himself, having to leak out. two major heroes lost on the side of Mongolz, and now their T3 is under siege. Without their axe, they can't do anything. He has a blink, but do they have the follow-up damage? They kick off onto the Shadow Fiend, but they're jumping right in with their Timber Saw onto Proxy. T3 is down. The Raxes are going down. What in the world is going on? The call landed only onto one. They've lost three. They've lost two. The buybacks are flying through, but this might just be the Rax gone. Fire Dragoons just absolutely ruffle stomping a Mongolz in their own base 16 minutes in. And when it's this early on and you're not able to defend your base, you know you're going to be in a lot of trouble. They made a mistake coming out onto the edge. Oh, Shadow Demon. They thought it was going to be okay. Their Raxes are so dead. This is such an early Rax as well coming out from Fire Dragoons. Mongolz, their Luna can clear the creeps reasonably well, but she doesn't hit hard yet. So unfortunately for the Luna, yes, her glaze will help. She's not really in a position to clear the creeps effectively yet. She's only sitting on the Dragonlance as well as the Helm of the Dominator, so she has the lifesteal, she has some built-in tank, but the damage not quite there yet with that Luna.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And the Mongolz again gonna go for a defense. They blink forward and masquerade it onto the Shadow Fiend, who's so damn tanky. They get the arrow off, but look at Brian running forward and getting perched up, taking lots of damage. He's gonna try and zip down to the lower ground. Doesn't quite get it though. Meanwhile, in the backline, they're gonna try and go for more. They lose their Earth Spirit. How is Brian still alive? Brian! Freaking invincible on this Timber Saw, and they're looking to grab this kill on the Shadow Demon. I will be honest, they could probably attempt to go for the T3 instead. They kill the crew. What? Oh my goodness.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I have no words for how quickly this game is going. Fire Dragoons, they just walked all over the Mongolz. Mongolz just cannot defend with the Luna. They cannot defend with the Mirana. The call landing onto two, but the physical damage output is just too strong, and 18-minute GG coming out for the Mongolz as Fire Dragoons just cleaned them up as if they were a little bit of dust. Whoa, that was a very quick game from Fire Dragoons, but they did what they needed to, and they did a wonderful job at it. So congratulations to Fire Dragoons. This game did not impact standings. It was more or less just to get another victory under their belt to have a better loss to win